Shalom, brothers and sisters. Peace and blessings be upon each and every one of you on today. Peace and knowledge, peace and wisdom, much love and respect to our people, the blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, which are the true biblical Israelites according to the scriptures concerning the King James Holy Bible. Today's lesson is going to be entitled, actually, what is the sperm cell of the male? What is sperm cell of the male? What is sperm? What is cum? What is nut? However you want to say it. Okay, what is that sticky substance that comes from the male penis? Okay, ejaculation. I'm going to explain what we better yet know as cum, nut, or sperm that is emitted from the male penis. I'm going to explain this, and I'm going to break it down what it is, what sperm is. So pay close attention. I'm going to break it down. Okay? And hopefully you will be edified what sperm is. All right, because many individuals are doing a lot with sperm, okay? You know, when it comes down to the sex community, okay, I see Juan Carleon, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I see you watching, so, you know, thank you for your support. And basically the lesson is entitled, what is sperm? So if you don't know what sperm is, I'm going to break down. I'm going to give you the sacred science and the analytics on what sperm actually is. Sperm, first and foremost, is a fluid, is a liquid that is secreted by the male. Sperm doesn't pertain to woman. Sperm pertains to male. S.P.E.R.M. Sperm is a fluid, a liquid that pertains to the male, the men. Okay? And when you're having sex, you know, on the verge of ejaculation, that is what is emitted from the penis. In order to what? In order to impregnate the woman, in order to fertilize the egg of the woman. So sperm, or what you call the fluid of the man, you know, another name for sperm is primordial soup. Primordial soup. You want to call it sperm, you can call it sperm, or you can call it primordial soup. We call it cum. We call it nut. But that, what you call cum, nut, or sperm, or primordial soup, that's a fluid, that's a liquid that comes from the male sex glands. It comes from the male sex glands. And within the male sex glands, you have cells within the male sex glands that's capable of fertilizing the egg in a woman's ovaries. So, you know, a woman goes through that monthly ovulation process, and when a woman is ovulating, she is actually, you know, releasing eggs from her ovaries. And once the sperm cell encounters the egg during ovulation, fertilization can take place, creating a child eventually. We already know this. But I want to go more deep into what is sperm or what is cum, because a lot of us, we don't know what sperm is. We just love to have fun with it. While we're having sex, you know, we're skeeting sperm all over the woman. We're skeeting cum all in their face. We're shooting loads of sperm down their mouths. You know, women are playing with sperm, swallowing sperm, taking it all in, you know, just all areas you can think of, man. Not knowing what sperm is. You know, brothers are jacking off, you know, not knowing what sperm is, man. That's what I'm saying. So we're going to break it down. Thank you for your brother. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for tuning in. We're going to break it down. Now, sperm is an acronym. Sperm is an acronym. And this is an acronym that basically I made up. So this acronym is not out, you know, just this acronym is not out before the public. It's an acronym I made up, and it's certainly true. Sperm. You have SPERM. Sperm is sacred, sacred perception of energy regenerating and manifesting itself. Okay, that's what sperm is. Or you can say sperm, you can say sacred perceptional energy regenerating, manifesting, however you want to say it. Okay, and so I'm going to go deeper now what sperm is, so pay close attention. All right, in the book of Genesis, so as you can see, this is the Holy Bible, ESV. You know what I'm saying? ESV. Now I know it's backwards to you guys. I know the Bible is backwards because the view of the camera. But I'm going to go in the Holy Bible and I'm going to the book of Genesis. The book of Genesis chapter 1, and then I'm going into verse 27. Genesis 1 and 27 says, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female, and he created them. So God created man in his own image. Now I'm going to talk about Genesis 1 and 27 from a procreation viewpoint. I'm talking about Genesis 1 and 27 from a procreation viewpoint, from a fertilization viewpoint, from a sexual viewpoint. Okay, so it says, yes, God did create man in his own image, but you got to realize when you're reading this, it makes you feel like God is distant. It makes you feel like, well, maybe God did create man in his own image, not realizing, brothers, that you are God. Not realizing from a procreational viewpoint, Genesis 1 and 27 is talking about you when it said God created man in his own image. Because, brothers, you are gods. And sisters, you are goddesses. So the men are gods and the sisters are goddesses. And gods and goddesses create man in their own image. Man and woman come together and create child in their own image. You see, when they have sexual relations, they have an intimate, personal union. The man and the woman have an intimate personal union, which is sex. And they come together and they do what? They create man in their own image. They also create woman in their own image. Depends on the sex of the child. Depends on if the child is a boy or a girl. And so we are gods and goddesses that create man in our own image. Most of you will read Genesis 1 and 27 and just thinking that it's talking about, the ultimate creator. But you got to see from all angles. You got to see from all viewpoints, because the Bible, has many different perspectives to certain book, chapter, and verses. And so in Genesis 1 and 27, from a procreational perspective, you are the God that create man in your own image. And you do that through sex. Now tell me that the child don't, tell me, am I wrong on the child being created in your own image? Because when you bring forth a child, the child is in your own image. When the woman pushes the child out concerning birth, the child resembles you and the woman. The child resembles the father and the mother. The child resembles the father and the mother. So what makes you think that man and woman don't create children in their own image? What makes you think you're not the God that create man in your own image? That's why your child has features of the man, which is the father, and your child have also features of the mother. Because that child was created in your own image. How? By bumping and grinding, by having sex, by tearing that thing up, if you know what I mean. But what actually forms the child in the woman's womb? How does the formulation process, how is this taking place? Now I'm going to give you some deep, dark knowledge. Listen up. The man's sperm, listen closely. The man's sperm, your sperm, is your thoughts. The sperm that ejaculates from the penis is the perception, it's the thoughts of the man. This is why your sperm is conscious. This is why exactly your sperm is moving. This is why your sperm is live. This is why you can put a microscope close up to sperm cells, and you can see them actually moving. Why are they moving? Because they are conscious. And anything that's moving, anything that's conscious, pertains life. So your sperm cells are lively moving. That lets you know that these sperm cells is conscious. In order for man to be conscious, he must have a brain. So what makes you conscious is having a brain. So what makes you think that sperm is not secreted in the brain? You see, you've been lied to, because the scientists of today tells you that sperm is secreted in the testicles. They tell you that sperm is formulated in the testes. Sperm is formulated in the testes, which the scrotum is the testicles. We like to call it the balls or the nutsack. This is what you've been taught concerning sexual education. You've been taught that sperm is secreted in the testicles, but it's not. Sperm is secreted in the brain and also the spinal column, the vertebrae. That's where sperm is secreted. Sperm is nothing other than spinal fluid. That's what sperm is. Spinal and brain fluid. Fluid that comes from the brain and spinal cord is nothing but sperm. Once again, I'm going to say it again. Sperm is spinal fluid. Fluid that comes from the spinal cord and also the brain. This is why a sperm cell looks like a brain attached to a spinal cord. If you look at a sperm cell, it looks like a brain. And attached to that brain is the spinal cord. That would be the head being the brain. The spinal cord would be the tail. So a sperm cell puts you in the mind of a brain that is attached to a spinal cord, because that's what it actually is. And that relates to your perception. That relates to your thoughts. So if you don't have your mind right, if you don't have your mind together, I wouldn't think about having children from any woman. Because if your mind is fucked up, if your thought process is all jacked up and fucked up, then if you do decide to go through with the sexual procedures of making love with this particular woman and you get her pregnant, your child is going to come out fucked up and jacked up. You know why? Because your child is nothing but the sperm, which pertains to the memory of a man that has been manifested. So when you look at your little boys and girls, when you look at your children are your manifested thoughts. Your children are your thoughts that was brought into fruition. That's what sperm is. Sperm is the sperm is the perception of the male, which represents consciousness. This consciousness separates itself from the brain. Basically, when you're having sex, if you're about to come, you having sex and you're telling your old lady, oh, I'm about to come, baby, I'm about to come, I'm about to ejaculate, I'm about to sperm. All right. What's happening is the brain that secretes the sperm, right? A portion of the brain separates itself in the form of the cranial fluid. The cranial fluid descends down the spinal column, which is the vertebrae, and it goes all the way down to the genitals. And it projects itself of what you know of ejaculation. And once the ejaculation takes place, let's say you ejaculated into your woman's vagina. Okay, the sperm goes into the vagina. And the sperm eventually it meets the egg cell of the woman. Now, what is the egg cell of the woman? The egg cell of the woman are the bones and flesh, or you can say the flesh and bones. The egg cell of the woman represents flesh and bones. The sperm cell of a man represents his perception, represents his thoughts. So your thoughts, once the sperm cell encounters the egg cell, what it does, it comes together. The sperm meets the egg and it comes together. Right? And that's called what? Spermatozoa, or better yet, fertilization. And so what's going on is your perception, your thoughts. Your thoughts are basically uniting with flesh and bone. Now, you know, when you read the Bible, it talks about the spirit, it talks about the soul, it talks about the spirit, and it talks about the soul. Your spirit in your soul lives in the pineal gland, the endocrine gland. The endocrine gland is better yet known as the pineal gland, which we like to call the third eye. We call it the eye of providence. We call it the all-seeing eye. Okay? The third eye, which is the endocrine gland, the pineal gland, is known as the seat of the soul because this is where the soul rests. So is it safe to say that your spirit, aka your soul, is your perception, your thoughts? So to have a fucked up spirit, to have a fucked up soul, is to have a fucked up mind. That's why they tell you a mind is a terrible thing to waste, because actually that's true. So they tell you that, you know, a mind. Okay, I see Wesley Kenny is watching. Thank you for tuning in, my brother. You know, I see Juan Carleon Carson. Okay, thank y'all for tuning in, man. We just talking about actually what is the sperm cell. And your sperm, basically the male sperm, is nothing but, you can say the sperm is a personification of his spirit. So the sperm is a personification of the spirit, which correlates to what? Your thought patterns, which correlates to your perception. And so when someone is talking about the spirit, when somebody's talking about the soul, they are talking about your mindset, man. That's why you might hear a brother or a sister say, I got demons in my soul. I have demons in my soul. I'm tormented with demons. Demons are tormenting my soul. Basically what they're telling you, roughly paraphrasing, they're telling you that demons are tormenting their mind. So to have a tormented soul is to have a tormented mind, because your mind is actually your soul, aka your spirit. You see? And the spirit needs a body to dwell in order to live, right? Because all of us are spirits in human bodies. And a spirit needs a body to dwell in. So if a spirit needs a body to dwell in, what is that body that that spirit encounters? The spirit is correlated to the sperm cell. The sperm cell represents the spirit, and the egg cell of the woman represents the body. And that spirit needs a body to live in. So when that sperm cells intermingle with that egg cell of the woman, that creates fertilization. That is actually a spirit getting a body. So now it's spirit, bones, and flesh. And so this is why your sperm cell looks like a tadpole, because the brain and the spinal cord looks like a tadpole. So what is sperm? Sperm are actually your thoughts and your perception. So if you have a fucked up mindset, if you don't have your mind together, man, you might not want to have children, because your children gonna come out fucked up and all dysfunctional. You have to have your mind together before you thinking about procreating. Please have your mindset together, because your mindset is actually your children. Your mind is actually your children. Your sperm that comes out your penis is basically brainial fluid from your brain and spinal fluid from your spine, which manifests itself in the form of a child. So your thoughts are being manifested in the form of your children. So when your children come out acting all jacked up and crazy, don't blame your children. You got to look back on you. Your children are doing the things pertaining to your perception, man. Okay, so that's what the sperm is of the male. That's what male sperm is. Male sperm is nothing more than, you know, the perception and thoughts of a man that manifests itself in the form of a child. After that sperm cell encounters the egg of the woman, it creates a fertilization process. The woman, you know, produces a zygote, from a zygote to an embryo, from an embryo to, you know, an infant, from an infant to a child. And there are your thoughts that have manifested itself. You see? So, I mean, you know, I don't have too much to say, but I thought I'll bring that out because I'm writing this book. And when I get this book published, I'm going to make sure I put it out before the public. And so if you ever wonder what the hell was sperm, Sperm is nothing but, sperm is nothing but brainial and spinal fluids that manifests itself in the form of a child. Your sperm is nothing but your thoughts. Okay, so I'm gonna make a long story short by explaining it to you like this. Say for instance you're gay, right? Say for instance you're a homosexual. Okay, when you have a child, 9 times out of 10, your child gonna be a homosexual. You know why? Because you procreated a child out of a homosexual perception. You know, to be a homosexual is to be in a homosexual mind state. And so if your sperm is actually your perception in your mind state, it will manifest itself. You see, and now your child is a homosexual. Say for instance you was a murderer, you was a burglar, whatever you may be. Whatever you are, that's who your children gonna be. You see? So sperm is not just some type of fluid. It's deeper than that. And actually, it's known as your seed. Your sperm is known as your seed. Your sperm is known as your seed. Now, if you spell seed backwards, we know seed is S-E-E-D. If you spell seed backwards, it's D-E-E-S, which is deeds, which is cohesive to deeds. Like your deeds are your actions. That's what your deeds are. Your deeds are your actions. Now, if you spell seed backwards, seed is the sperm. If you spell seed backwards, it's deeds. So what is your sperm? Your sperm is your deeds, your actions. And your actions get manifested once it encounters the egg cell of a woman. The egg cell of a woman, let me remind you, the egg cell of the woman is what? The flesh and bones. The egg cell of the woman represents flesh, the blood, flesh, and bones. That's what the egg cell represents, the blood, flesh, and bones. The sperm cell of the man represents his perception, his mind, thoughts, and it represents the spirit. And so the sperm, which is the spirit, encounters the egg, which is bones, flesh, and blood, and that's how the spirit gets a body and make a child. You feel me? So yeah, sperm also comes from the Latin. It comes from the Latin word sperma, or it comes from the Greek word spermos. Sperm is energy. Keep that in mind. And where does this sperm come from? It's secreted from the brain. It comes from the brain, not the nutsack. Conscious energy in your brain separates itself, goes down the spinal column. All right. So the brain, which is your ideals, equals your consciousness. Your brain is simmered and it's warm and it's hot. This is why your head is the hottest. Your head is the hottest place on your body, man. The hottest spot on your body is your head, man. All right. We see you guys. Jamar Jackson is watching. Thank you for tuning in, my brother. We thank you for tuning in, man. It's a pleasure. Bernard Buford is watching. Thank you for tuning in, my brother. Peace and blessings to you all. Peace and much love and respect. Basically what I'm talking about, I'm doing a review trying to explain what is sperm, because a lot of brothers don't know what sperm is. They think it's just some type of transparent fluid that is emitted from the body, and I'm trying to explain what sperm is. Maybe if we knew the true science behind what is sperm, we'll be more careful on how we handle it, because a lot of men, they do all kind of things with sperm, man, when it comes down to sex. They make their woman swallow it. They make their woman catch it all over their bodies and stuff, not knowing what it really is. Sex. I told you sex is an acronym. Now, if you guys was listening, you should know this. Sex is an acronym which stands for Sacred Energy Exchange. That's what sex means. So when you're having sex, you're doing what? You are exchanging sacred energy. A lot of brothers and sisters think that sex is a game. They think that sex is just for performance, and just ultimately they think sex is just only for pleasure, man. But sex goes deeper than that, because sex is an acronym which basically stands for sexual energy exchange. So when you're having sex, you are exchanging sacred energy, man. Yeah, the head holds, Bernard Buford, man, my brother. The head holds the most heat, Because you know why the head holds the most heat? Because actually this is where your spirit dwells. I'm going to say it again. Your spirit lives in your head. Now in the brain, like I said, in the brain, you have this endocrine gland. It's called the endocrine gland. Check that out. In the brain, it's called the endocrine gland, aka the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is the seat of the soul. This is why they tell you that your eyes are windows. Your eyes that you see out of. Your eyes are windows. Windows for the what? Windows for the soul. Your eyes are windows for the soul to see out of. So this is how your soul sees, which is in the endocrine gland. This is how your soul sees. This is how your soul looks. Your soul look out. Your soul get a good glimpse at the world by looking through what you call the eyeballs. And the eyeballs are what? The eyeballs are windows for the soul, which dwells in the brain. And so, like I said, when you are lost in your mind, you are lost in your soul. To have a lost mind is to have a lost soul. To have a confused mind is to have a confused soul. To have a double-minded mind, like somebody might say you double-minded. That means your soul is perplexed. That means your soul is going through a chaotic state. Your soul is in a enigmatic state. You see? And so in church, why you think in church, when they pray for you in church, where's the first place they lay hands on? What concerning the body? What is the first place they lay hands on in church? Usually it's the head, right? This is the first place the pastor goes for. If the pastor is anointing your body, if you want to seek prayer in church, the first place that they go for is the head. Why is that? Because this is where the spirit dwells. This is where the spirit resides. And so when you're receiving prayer in church, they anoint the head by doing what? They put a cross in the center of the forehead, or they might put a dot right here in the center of the forehead, because what they're trying to do, they are trying to really nourish your spirit. They're trying to bless your spirit. They're trying to anoint your spirit. Now, if your spirit was anywhere else in your body, if your spirit was located anywhere else in your body, then they should be anointing that area. If your spirit dwelt in your arm, let's say, for instance, the spirit lives in the arm, then they should anoint the arm. If the spirit dwells in the stomach, then they should anoint the stomach. If the spirit dwells in the chest, then they should put oil on the chest. But why do they put oil on the head? Because this is where the spirit dwells. And the spirit is the sperm cell of a man. Your sperm is your spirit, man. A lot of brothers might not know that, but your sperm is your spirit. Just listen to it. Listen to it. Just listen to it. Sperm, spirit, sperm, spirit. Your sperm is your spirit. And your spirit is your mind. Your spirit is your perception. Your spirit is your thoughts. And your thoughts gets ejaculated because your brain, which is your spirit, it secretes this brainial fluid, and this brainial fluid travels down the spinal column, which is the vertebrae. It goes all the way down to the reproductive glands, which is the penis, and then it emits itself out the penis in the form of ejaculation. And so when that sperm goes into the woman's vagina to fertilize the egg cell of a woman, that's actually your thoughts manifesting itself in the form of a child. A lot of people don't know this sacred knowledge. That's why I'm trying to give it to you guys, man. All right. So sperm, I'm going to say this once more and I'm going to close out. Sperm is an acronym. Sperm stands for SPERM. Sperm stands for, listen closely, sperm. Sperm stands for sacred potential energy regenerating itself and manifesting, which is the child. So if you never knew that, and sex stands for sacred energy exchange. All right. So if you never knew that, now you know. All right, brothers and sisters, please support me on YouTube as well. Just go to Shabar Israel. That's SHABAR ISRAEL, Shabar Israel. Support me on YouTube, man. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I thank you all, brothers. I thank you for tuning in, brothers and sisters, man. Y'all help me every time when y'all tune in. I thank you for your support, man. Y'all just don't know. how much y'all are helping me. So I thank y'all, brothers. I thank you, Bernard Buford. I thank you, Juan Carleon Carson. I thank you guys, Jamar Jackson, Wesley Kennedy, who else? And so many more, that's tuned in watching, because a lot of people don't want this sacred knowledge. A lot of people don't want it because they don't want to be educated. All they want to do is coon around. All they want to do, they think life is a goddamn joke, man. That they think I don't even like to call it life, because you're not living. Okay, you're actually not living. If you think you're living, then you've been duped. You've been tricked. You're not living. You're existing. So no one lives. They just exist. No one lives. They only exist. You actually live when you die. Now that's another lesson within itself. You actually live when you die. When you truly die, that's when you begin to live. All right. So you can never kill a happy man, if you can catch that. You can never kill a happy man, because truly when you die, that's when you really begin to live. So you're not living right now, you're just existing. But you've been led to believe that you're living. So who told you that lie? The government did. So you got to open your third eye up. You got to stay on game on stuff, because America is, America is a low vibrational corporation. I don't even want to say country, because it's not a country, it's a corporation. But America is the valley of the shadow of death, which the Bible speaks of in Psalms 23. And to be an American, man, that lets you know, if you claiming that you're American, you're vibrating really low. I'm not an American. All right. And you shouldn't be an American neither, because America is the name of a landmass. Actually, America goes back to a white man name by the name of Amerigo Vespucci. You see, so I'm pretty sure you didn't descend from his bloodline. You feel me? And so you're not American. You might be a citizen. You might have citizenship in America, but you're not American. You might have citizenship, and to have citizenship is to be a slave. So you have citizenship. So what that tells you, you're a citizen on the ship. Okay. So to have citizenship is to be a citizen on a boat. You're a citizen on the slave boat. You feel me? So yeah, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll let y'all know, when basically I'm gonna post another video. But we gotta open our minds up, because a lot of things that the government put out, they want you to fall for it. Like, okay, like they'll put out so many philosophies, they put out so many technological mechanisms in order to ensnare us as a nation of people. Like, they would receive you through politics. They receive you through religion. They receive you through economics. You see what I'm saying? So we have to really just be aware of things, because we've been deceived. And you can't really think right until you really unplug from the matrix. You got to unplug from the matrix in order to think right. And so when you're thinking right, you can do right. If you're not thinking right, you can't do right. So in order to do right, you must be thinking right. And America don't want you to think right. They want to deceive you each and every day of your life. And they want to put these snares before you continuously until you are gone. And so I'm just this brother that's putting this information out here, man. If you can get the information, get the information. This information is not for all people. This information is only for the elect. Okay, only for those brothers and sisters that choose to educate themselves and progress, that choose to elevate themselves in this hell that we are in. All right. And so this video was done because I had brothers and sisters asking me what exactly was sperm. And I felt led to make this video to share exactly what is the sperm cell of the male. Okay. And anything, just remember, anything that has a brain, if it has a brain, that means it came from a sperm cell. Because if you have a brain, that means actually your brain is sperm. If you didn't know that, the brain is sperm. It's just educated sperm. The sperm was less condensed, and over a period of time, the sperm transmutated itself into the form of the brain. So your brain is your father's sperm cell. Okay, so you come from your father's sperm cell. And this is why you have a brain. Anything on earth that has a brain comes from the sperm cell of a male entity. Now, I don't think jellyfish have. Now, jellyfish probably don't have a brain. Last time I researched, I don't think jellyfish has a brain. All right. But anything else that has a brain, that lets you know that you derive from the sperm cell of your father. And so the sperm is the spirit, man. Your daddy's sperm cell was his spirit that he put in your mama, and the spirit got a body, which is when the spirit, which is the sperm, met the egg cell of your mother. That's the moment when that spirit got a body. So spirits and bodies are nothing but sperm cells that fertilize the egg of a woman. So when the sperm cell goes into the egg of a woman to fertilize it, that's the spirit that's getting the body, which turns into a child eventually. Thank you for your time. Peace out.